That boy life is dangerous. And his life doesn't, and he's just not dangerous with the shit they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He know too much. I tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets. Who's involved in that little secret?
I'm the protected Tupac.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Puffy can give him a mother star, and every rat in the world said he didn't want Tupac.
It looks like everyone is coming out of the woodwork to talk about Diddy's situation. Even one of his worst nemeses, Suge Knight, joined in on the conversation from behind the bars. Suge claimed that Diddy's existence is pretty much a ticking explosive for the music industry, as he knows too much. Suge alleged that the situation is so dire that Diddy might spill all the secrets to the feds just to save himself from incarceration. Former CEO of Death Records alluded that as soon as Diddy opened his mouth, the industry would be doomed. 1. Suge Knight on Diddy. Okay, so Suge Knight and Diddy's animosity goes way back, and now that Diddy is in a vulnerable position, he comes out and spills some tea on Diddy. Knight launched his podcast back in October 2023 after teaming up with Breakbeat, which is the first ever hip-hop podcast network created by the Source magazine founder David Mays. Knight hosts the podcast from the California State Prison, where he's serving a 28-year sentence for voluntary MS. So, although Suge's allegations make sense, it would be wise to take them at face value. Anyway, if we analyze Diddy's situation, there are basically two outcomes, and both could alter the entertainment industry for good. One possibility might be that Diddy could escape this mess untouched, and someone else would take the fall for him. Another outcome might be that Diddy would have to face the music of his lawless actions and would end up in jail for life. While everyone else is ping-ponging between the possibilities, Suge believes that Diddy might end up behind the bars. At first, he released an episode of his podcast where he issued a warning for his longtime enemy. He said,
I tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets. Who's involved in that little secret?
Suge claimed that Diddy could be taken out by the higher-ups he worked for because he knew way too much about their secret agendas. Well, Suge joined the Diddy conversation when he was mentioned in Knight's podcast in the past when the rivalry seemed to be reignited in 2023 in a lawsuit filed by Cassie Ventura last November. She accused Combs of aiming himself as he went chasing after Knight one night. While Knight took a couple of verbal jabs at Combs during the podcast, he did acknowledge that the situation involving the Bad Boy Records founder is nothing to cheer about, sharing that he was praying for Combs' kids. Knight went on to encourage Diddy to turn himself over to the authorities, just as Knight did after a hit and run in 2015 that resulted in the death of Terry Carter. He said, I turn myself in. Sometimes you gotta face the music. That's most of the time. Suge also took a moment to give Diddy some real advice if he did end up behind bars, just like Suge predicted. So, you know that the entertainment industry is all about that alleged embarrassment ritual, right? Well, Suge explained that Diddy would have to take a pee in front of everyone in order to look submissive, or otherwise, he wouldn't survive the tough life of prison. He said, you gotta make a decision when you go to prison. You gotta be standing up peeing or squatting, sitting down peeing. According to Chris Cuomo, this Diddy investigation as a whole doesn't smell right. The former CNN News anchor joined the hosts of the Valuetainment podcast, where he not only downplayed what he believed that the Bad Boy CEO fate would be, but also predicted a RICO case in Diddy's future. Cuomo explained that a RICO is a fancy way of saying they're going to catch you for the side activities that went into the main criminal enterprise. He then forecasted that's how they're allegedly going to come after Puffy. Cuomo broke the mechanics of the investigation, saying, you start working bottom up in an investigation like this. They're essentially a RICO case, okay? There's a racketeering case. That's what they're going to do to get him in ancillary activities that were part of what they're going to say was a criminal enterprise. You get the little guys. They start to bubble up. You now got your subpoenas out. You get your information, your web of networks or contacts and communication, which is a treasure trove, because everybody's doing this all the time. And then you punctuate it with that you now have an understanding where they might be, and that might mean you get raided. And then you indict and or arrest. So listen, it looks really like the higher-ups are trying to get Diddy behind the bars by all means.
That boy life is dangerous. And his life doesn't, and he's just not dangerous with the shit they said he was doing, but he's in danger. He know too much.
You might not know, but there is a notion of certain entities in the entertainment industry that are deemed too big to fail, as they are responsible for supporting major corporations. Knight has boldly questioned whether Diddy, with all his influence and connections, fell into this category or if there are higher-ups who wield even greater power and influence. He's also insinuating that Diddy's challenges started the second he decided to call out the status quo with his vocal accusations of racism, and they may have made him a target for retribution. While Knight shared his perspective on the inner workings of the music industry, he pointed out the importance of understanding its history and power dynamics. He cautioned that the artists and industry insiders must be vigilant and strategic in navigating external forces rife with hidden agendas and power struggles. 2. Tupac death and Diddy. Until now, it was just a rumor that Diddy was involved in eliminating Tupac, since he was one of the people who benefited from Pac's death. And not to mention, Keefe D, the gangster who has been indicted by the Las Vegas jury for eliminating Tupac, claimed that Diddy had placed a bounty of $10 million on Tupac's head at the time. For years, he had been going around doing interviews, but he was finally held accountable after he indirectly admitted to being in the car involved in the shootout that claimed the legend's life. Keefe D first spoke about his involvement in the shooting with Los Angeles police in 2008 for immunity in a PCP ring case. His confession was later reported in a 2011 book, M-Rap, by Greg Kading, a former detective on the case. Keefe D told investigators that his nephew, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, pulled the trigger on Tupac from the car they were in. He mistakenly confessed that if they had driven on his side, he would have eliminated them himself. This backstory is important in the aspect that when everyone was pointing fingers at Suge back in the day for eliminating Tupac, he was the first one to hint that Diddy knew who eliminated Tupac. Suge even alleged in the one podcast episode that Biggie's death was a consequence of Tupac's demise, and Diddy made money off Biggie's death.
P. Diddy benefited from Biggie's death. When Biggie died, Puffy picked up the microphone, but I picked up the pieces, is exactly what he says.
Jaguar Wright, one of the industry whistleblowers, also seemingly backed up Suge's claims when she revealed that if the trial went the way she expected, Diddy might be forced to actually admit his involvement.
I think the KPD trial has the potential to force Sean Combs to finally be honest about some things that he hasn't been honest.
Anyway, Suge explained that Diddy was allegedly paid millions of dollars when both the legendary artists died. Okay, so the sources claim that Diddy was always supported by the higher-ups, and because they failed to control Biggie and Tupac, they allegedly offered Diddy a helping hand after the work was done, and Diddy was paid in the form of record deals that initially did not work out for him, but eventually paved his way to the top. Fans speculate that Lucian Grange might have been the one to offer Diddy the deal. For those who don't know though, Lucian Grange, the chairman and CEO of Universal Music Group, along with the label, was accused of abetting rapper P. Diddy's misconduct in a lawsuit filed by his former producer Rodney Jones. Billboard reported that Grange's legal team has slammed Blackburn, calling the allegations offensively false. Listen, if we look closely at Grange's statements, it's rather clear that he openly threatened Blackburn of allegedly revoking his practice license. Grange's legal team has also claimed that he would seek legal penalties against Blackburn and would also seek so-called sanctions against him in a future filing. Donald Zarkin, Grange, and the group's attorney said in a statement, "A license to practice law is a privilege, Mr. Blackburn. Plaintiff's lawyer has misused that license to self-promote, gratuitously, falsely, and recklessly accusing the UMG defendants of criminal behavior." And allegedly, this wasn't the only time Diddy used money to eliminate his rivals. But let's not forget about Jag's expose before Diddy got himself in trouble. Jag had highlighted the fact that Diddy has always been hale and hearty. Even when all the Uptown oldies either lost their lives or suffered terrible incidents, she said, "Uptown Records started with 5 people: Andre Harrell, Al B. Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy, or Diddy, and Kim Porter was the longest working employee. She was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead, Heavy D is dead, Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?" She claimed that she found the past of the Uptown artists really suspicious, as all of them were, in one way or another, working on telling the story of their life that would eventually include Diddy. Fans speculate that Diddy didn't want to get his past wrongdoings coming to light at any cost. Jaguar questioned Diddy's upward trajectory, while others were flatlined. She said, "Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything ever happened to him? He must be the luckiest man alive because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning are gone, except for him." Apart from all that, Suge even claimed that the fact that Cassie was physically harmed by Diddy was common knowledge among industry insiders. You can imagine the kind of influence Diddy had in the industry that no one even dared to speak against him. Suge even claimed that Diddy used to physically harm his assistant, Capricorn, as well.
She was his assistant for 11 years. Suge Knight is saying that P. Diddy beat the crap out of Capricorn as well because Capricorn wasn't really telling him all the truth.
Suge explained that Cassie was really smart regarding the lawsuit she filed against Diddy. He revealed that since she did not go into too much detail, she was able to get money out of Diddy and was able to label him as a ST and SAer. On top of that, do you remember those S-workers Diddy allegedly used to hire to sleep with Cassie? Well, Suge claimed that they used to have intimacy with Diddy as well. And let's not forget that Diddy's ex-security detail also backed Suge's claim. Anyway, Reggie Wright Jr. also gave his 2 cents on Diddy's situation, claiming that the higher-ups who used to support Diddy are the ones who are trying to eliminate his influence, as after showing up on the feds' radar, he allegedly became too much of a liability for them. Reggie explained that the so-called higher-ups followed the same steps to take Suge down as well.
Not the same owners, but the same company, people that was in the same position that took Puffy down, that eventually took Bad Boys down. It's also the company that took Suge Knight.
Well, fans don't exactly believe Reggie's theory, as they believe that Diddy eliminated his own career by getting his celebrity status cloud his judgment. Diddy took down Diddy the same way Kanye took down Kanye. That company, Diageo, said that they paid Diddy $1 billion since their partnership, which means Diddy was not a boss. He was probably a name used to get the brand Ciroc up and running with his celebrity status, because Diddy was hot at the time. There's a difference between actually running a liquor beverage empire and celebrity status. Celebrity status is used to make dollars, but you run nothing. 3. Raid. Just about a month ago, properties owned by Diddy located in Miami and Los Angeles were raided by Homeland Security. Credible news outlets have cited an unnamed source that claimed the federal officials in Manhattan have interviewed 3 women and a man, and 3 other interviews are scheduled in relation to allegations of STSA and the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms. In a statement, Homeland Security Investigations confirmed that Homeland Security Investigations executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation, with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and local law enforcement partners. The development in a slew of SA-related cases has shocked the whole industry.
Sean Diddy Combs. Yesterday, we told you how federal agents searched 2 of his properties as part of an investigation into alleged.
Andrew Dyer, Combs' attorney, released a statement saying any speculation about the raids leads to a premature rush to the judgment of Mr. Combs. He asserted that the over-the-top military-level force search was conducted at Combs' properties showed hostility towards his client. He claimed that Combs' employees and family members were subjected to harsh behavior without any provocation. In addition to that, he tried to clean Combs' name as much as possible. He claimed that since Combs was never detained but spoke to and cooperated with authorities, he is not guilty by any means. He explained that despite media speculation, neither Combs nor any of his family members have been arrested, nor has the ability to travel been restricted in any way. Furthermore, he asserted that there's been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of the allegations. However, his claims have been nothing but lip service, as the rumors of Diddy being involved in shady business have been going around for years. And for the public, the raid was parallel to an admission of guilt. Sources have revealed that people who have been close to Diddy are hiring lawyers to deal with inquiries from federal investigators. The case likely has a great deal going on right now, even if it's not making headlines, according to former federal prosecutor Nadia Shihada. From my experience, I suspect they're interviewing a number of people at the moment, casting a wide net that would include potential victims, employees, members of Mr. Combs' entourage, basically anyone who may have relevant information. They are also reviewing the digital evidence recovered during the search warrants. They're probably issuing subpoenas, and they may be conducting other types of searches that wouldn't be in public view, like cell site searches, emails, that sort of thing. We all know the most destructive lawsuit that wrecked Diddy's image was Lil Rod's. Well, recently, Lil Rod added more accusations while speaking under oath. Jones offered the court a recording of Combs bragging about engaging in insane activities throughout his storied career. Jones claimed that he had first-hand knowledge and evidence of Combs' illicit actions, including physical attack, tax evasion, and even more disturbingly, the Pew Pew incident involving a woman. He said, he shared how he would get things by force. This included record deals, signatures on contracts, acts from men and women, as well as all the women of his enemies. He asserted that Diddy took pleasure in recounting his influence over celebrities and artists, particularly in manipulating circumstances to his favor. Jones explained that Combs admitted to involving Jennifer Lopez in potentially illegal activities, leveraging his position to have Shine take the fall for a nightclub shooting in return for a record deal with Arista Records courtesy of L.A. Reid. he bragged about departed attorney Johnny Cochran's savvy legal skills and ability to pay off the witnesses through private investigators and other third parties. Mr. Combs bragged about the power he has and the fact that he has beat up record executive Steve Stout's behind. He laughed uncontrollably as he talked about busting him in the head with a bottle of champagne and a chair. On another occasion, Mr. Combs bragged about beating up Gerard Rexner outside of a nightclub in Hollywood. Not to mention, Combs is also facing another lawsuit, and this one is a six-figure business dispute that alleges Combs left a New Orleans design firm on the hook for $100,000 in material costs after postponing the event that it was meant for. You see, Raven PMG, which builds temporary structures out of steel, neon lights, and other materials for events ranging from concerts to pop-up venues and art installations, accepted a contract to build a red translucent cube for an event Combs was supposed to hold. On August 31st, 2023, another company working with Combs, Phantom Labs, approached Raven to work on the structure, according to federal civil complaints filed last week in the Southern District of New York. A few days later, Phantom asked for charges to the design, which tacked on another $20,000 in production costs, which another co-defendant named Mark Lupton allegedly compromised would be paid by September 8th. The lawsuit alleges that Phantom and Lupton misrepresented their funding and business relationship with Combs while negotiating the project with Raven. Additionally, Combs is accused of interfering with the contract by allegedly failing to pay Phantom, which then stuck Raven with the bill. Thomas Eisworth, who is representing Raven, said in a statement, "The current case is the first of many against Diddy and Phantom, as our investigation is revealing significant damages incurred by multiple parties, suggesting a systemic issue within their operations." That's it for today, though. See you in the next one. Goodbye.